What's up, Resilient Church? It's your boy, Pastor Jake here, and you know what time it is. It's time for another finance update. We do this every 2 months just to show you how things are looking for us as a church and our finance reports and all those things, because this is really significant for us. As you might recall, we're in a 3-year-long campaign that we're calling the For Vermilion Initiative. Our goal is to see our ministry expand at Resilient Church, ultimately for Vermilion, for God's kingdom to come here for Vermilion. And a part of that is also seeing our finances increase, because at the end of the day, we get to do what we do because of your generous support as our attenders and as our partners. And so we want to make sure we take time every couple of months to fill you in on how things are looking for our income that's coming in, as well as our expenses, and to see how things are going, and to come up with next steps if it's applicable. So let's dive in. Let's look at the report. So here you can see our cumulative income is looking really great. So the blue line is our projected income from our budget. We set out a goal to raise $222,000 this year. And so for August, last time we did a report was for May and June. We're now talking about May through August here. Our projected income from the budget was only $74,000, and we've brought in $95,753 to date. That is amazing. We're well ahead of that. And then you can see our projected forecast is about $20,000 over the $222,000 mark. So that's really great. Now, a caveat here, you also got to remember, we just hit our goal to raise $50,000 for the Resilient Church Community Center launch fund, right? So that's where you're going to see a bit of this. So I wouldn't be surprised if over the next couple of months we see the giving go down to where it hits back here in the average. But either way, this is really awesome for us to see. Now, if you come over here and see our cumulative expenses, what's really great is actually we're not too far up from our projected expenses from our budget standpoint. So our budget said that by August we would be spending $97,375. We've spent over that by about $6,000 or so, $6,000 to $7,000. We spent $103,978 to date. Now, remember, we raised $50,000 over the last couple of months to help with all the launch expenses for this beautiful space that we're able to occupy Monday through Saturday, as well as some additional tech installments that are going to go into the Dakota Center here soon. So it makes sense that if we see the increase in giving, that we also see a slight increase in expenses, but it's nothing that's too crazy. Okay, so we're still projected to be right around budget. It'll likely be that we see expenses dip down again in the future, now that we don't have as many launch expenses that we got to do. So this is a page that shows you, again, just kind of a comparison. We are ahead of how much has come in, $95,000 here versus the $74,000 that was budgeted. This is just a bird's eye view of the cumulative expenses from all the different budgets. Lots of barcodes, it's kind of hard to read. So let's take a brief look at the condensed statement of activity report for this last month, year to date, and how things are looking for the budget as a whole. Really nothing too crazy is standing out here. We have like a little red font here for our community center launch expenses, saying that we've spent over our year-to-date budget. The year-to-date budget just splits everything out over the course of 12 months. So it makes sense for this to be so high because we're gonna stop spending money for all the launch expenses now that we've launched the space, right? So that's why that's a little higher. We're still significantly under budget for that. We have some more expenses that are gonna be processed this month where it's gonna be closer to the $40,000 mark, but the fact that we are well under budget for the community center launch expenses is really helpful. One other thing to note is that our compassion budget has increased because we've decided that we're going to go on another mission trip to Juarez, Mexico. So instead of a $10,000 trip, this is gonna be another $20,000 trip. However, we are anticipating raising all of those funds, so that will help us in our contributed income. The main thing for us to keep track of in terms of our income that's coming in and our future expenses is this number down here, our net operating revenue of what we're projected for the end of the year. So our finance team sat down this last year and looked at it, and we were able this year to take out between $53,000 and $57,000 from our savings for this year to help fill the gap between increasing our income, right? We want to be able to see an average of $12,500 given each month as we slowly transition to being self-sustaining. Again, we want to be able to fully support our budget over the next 3 years without taking anything from savings to do so. This is a huge faith step because we believe we can do so much more with this space, so much more ministry in the city to grow our people and to expand our community outreach. And one of the pieces that will come with that is increased generosity over the course of the road. However, right now it's projecting that we're going to be about $70,000 in the red after this fiscal year. So we're going to need to try to see giving increase a little bit, about 13,000 or so for us to get back to that 57 number. Because the next fiscal year, our goal will be to take out half as much as what we're taking out this year. So it'll be like 20-some thousand. And then the third year will be like 10-some thousand before by year 4, we're fully sustaining with our budget. That's how that looks. So if you have any questions at all about our activity, anything that might seem particularly concerning, we would love to be able to have those conversations with you. We want to be an open book about this to show all the beautiful things that we are doing, and but also wanting to make sure we're stewarding God's resources He's given us, and of course stewarding your amazing generosity to help support this effort. So this is our finance report for the months of July and August. We're obviously recording this in September, so we'll have another report coming out here in the next 2 months. Things are looking good. And all that to say, we do these reports to keep you up to date so that you know that God is moving amongst us. Your gifts aren't just something you pay your dues to participate in Resilient Church like it's a subscription. That's not what this is. It's entrusting God to work in your life through the act of generosity. It's not about just supporting your church. It's about the lives that are changed because of the work that we're doing here. It's about the lives that are changed in our city that's impacted because of what's going on here. We're able to do our new outreach program to this city called Parents Night Out to try to provide an amazing, fun evening for kids while their parents can have a date night out because of your generosity. We get to do this all because you believe in God and trust Him in this. So all that to say, if you are giving, thank you so much for your gifts. If you haven't started giving, I highly encourage you to try it. We always offer this. We offer a 90-day money-back guarantee where if at the end of those 3 months, if it's been hard or strained, then we will absolutely give you back those gifts, no problem whatsoever. All that to say, we want to create a safe space for you to practice generosity and see what God does through your giving. Thanks for tuning into this finance report. We'll see you again in a couple months.